All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Team versus Luminosity on the red side, and we already have a fantastic match ready for you guys. On the blue side, left side of your spectator UI, you have Harambe's Revenge leading the charge on Ravana in the solo lane. Xing in the jungle, Assailant on Raijin in the mid lane, Joel the asshole, and Sun Taco as the Xingtian and the Anher as the support and ADC respectively. Words are hard.
Meanwhile, for Luminosity, Droid going to be taking Hercules into the solo lane. Reach Zero bringing back the throwback with the Freya jungle. Xenotronics going into the mid lane with Uller. And Jeff Henla and Barracuda going to be bringing in that duo lane with Ares and Rom. And already the solo lane is just being a fight. Hercules and Freya doing a lot of early game damage, but not quite as much as Serket can throw out.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of damage coming out, especially on Droid, who's forced to go ahead and back off and use that heal, while Harambe is free to go ahead and start looking at these Fire Imps, which Xenotronics has already started.
Yeah, Xing going to be making the rotation over. He's going in deep. He's going to get a little bit of damage down, but it looks more like Harambe's Revenge is going to be the one. He's going to fall. First blood goes to Reach Zero. Xenotronics really low, but it looks like Xing's going to fall first.
Picks out for Harambe, my friends. He's going to be the first to fall, followed by poor Xenotronics. Rip the dream. And instead we're going to have them rotate back to mid. I mean, that's pretty explosive. Double kill early on. We're only a minute and 30 seconds into the game.
I mean, and that's how you want your game to go. Like, that was the ideal situation. Hey, what just happened? Oh, you know, we killed off the jungler and the solo laner, and now two of our lanes are going to be ahead. And honestly, our jungler is going to be enough ahead. And as Freya, that's perfect. You're telling me I'm sitting here, I'm Freya, and you're telling me I get to be ahead. I get a little bit of extra gold, get to get my items online. Like, that's Freya's dream.
Exactly. And I mean, Xing's going to have a harder time on that Serket because you have two types of junglers. You got the farming jungler and you have the ganking jungler. And Xing, I mean, tends to waver between the two. But on Serket, you really have to be careful. And right now, he's still starved right now, level 3.
As it stands, I mean, honestly, Blue Team here is kind of sitting on their back legs, although Anher actually going to go get aggressive against Jeff Henla and Barracuda. Don't know where that came from. Sun Taco just kind of jumped in. I honestly kind of expected to see a kill go down, but Ares only having the chains, not really anything to lock him down, no stuns available. Just kind of going to watch him back off, get a little bit of regen off of some pots. And I mean, as it stands, Blue Team, again, just not looking for any aggression, although Sun Taco prone to jump in.
Yeah, I mean, don't let your memes be dreams. Sun Taco wanted to jump in, get that extra hot kill. We saw Freya start to rotate over towards the duo lane, but went ahead and backed off instead. And now Jeff Henla is going to start rotating back towards the mid, whereas Xing hasn't really left mid lane with Assailant on that Raijin. Needs to get his farm up as best he can. The worst thing for Xing right now would be caught up by Jeff Henla and those chains. So very aptly decided to go ahead and get out.
I really like the pick in Ares for Jeff Henla because it's one of the few things, and it's a beautiful counter that I feel like people don't consider. Serket has a relatively hard counter by Ares. If Ares hits that chain, two of her abilities are completely useless. Like, she can't jump away, she can't dash away, and her mobility is pretty much part of what makes her a strong jungler. So
Barracuda, 1 second. Barracuda taking quite a bit of damage. Pinch. Sun Taco looking for it. Here comes the Desert Fury. He's going to jump into the air, but that means he's going to be right exactly where he departed. Jeff Henla going to try and take it out. No escape coming out, but Barracuda still going to get stunned out. Here comes the wind-up. Takes a day long, but still Barracuda lives. Now Sun Taco takes him out, finally putting the Blue Team on the board.
Reach Zero going to be able to pick up a kill with his ultimate, although retreating under there, but going to be attacked. Xing going deep for it. He's maybe going to find the kill from the dot. There it is. Ooh. But the return kill did happen, so Xing gave his life to pick up that kill, and now Xing Chen just going to dash away. The rest of his team kind of falling around him, on her able to get out before he fell, but losing Assailant and Xing in that fight was not very good, but they did manage to pick up 2 kills for themselves.
I mean, they got 2 kills, but at what cost? Luminosity still sitting 2 kills up, nice, fat, and happy. And checking out the graphs, they're about 1,100 experience and 1,000 gold in favor of the boys in red, which doesn't mean a lot right now, but it's an excellent foothold to start before we've even hit 5 minutes.
And, I mean, accompanying that, actually, Joel going to be taking a lot of damage. One chain, the flame's going to come down, and Xenotronics taking a lot of it, but he's going to be able to get out the tier 2, and his teammate's going to be able to save him. And now it looks like we might see Xenotronics fall Uller really low, and Suntaku going to just jump over, throw out a nice little impale, get the kill. Blue team's bringing themselves back into it just with a few abilities.
But Assailant gonna get taken out by Reach Zero. Jeff Henla helping out as well. But now coming in from the back line, Jeff Henla taken out. And now Reach Zero is gonna follow suit by Suntaku and a double kill in the mid lane. Joy gonna rotate over, but he's gonna be too late to the party. Looks like he's batting at 0.
So far, the entire thing, just a second ago, Luminosity, not necessarily leagues ahead. Healthy chunk ahead. Barracuda, yeah. Like, he made that play up where he lived for forever. Didn't need to live that long. He used beautiful purification to get out, a nice use of his abilities. And you're thinking, okay, so maybe blue team's just a little bit outclassed. Maybe they're going to be like showing off a little bit stronger. They've brought it back, and now it looks like Barracuda getting aggressive on Xing and Joel there to be on him. Suntaku coming in. The minions are alive here, but there are 3 members just waiting for him. Is Harambe going to be able to pick up Droid on the other side? Barracuda now impaled against the wall, taking a lot of damage, and it's no way he's going to be able to get out of this alive.
It's literally Harambe's revenge because he was first blood, and now he's going to be able to take him out. But the fight still continues over on the left side of the map, and now Assailant taking a lot of damage. Jeff Henla, credit for that. No escape, going to pull Suntaku, and he's going to be forced out in the backline. Reach Zero barely able to get him. He's 1 hit away, but Suntaku was able to jump while Joel takes out Reach Zero in the backline, overstaying the Freya's welcome. But now Jeff Henla's looking for it. He's pinned, and Xenotronics going to be able to take him out. That kitty couldn't last for long.
Joel going to be zoning out, but not necessarily wanting to fight Jeff Henla and Xenotronics. Just a little bit too much damage for the one Xing Chen to handle. And for a 6.5-minute game, this has been action-packed the entire time. I'm honestly kind of surprised that these teams are as aggressive as they are. In fact, Harambe's revenge is in the enemy speed buff right now. Droid finally spotting it out, might come over, but he's not going to be able to get it back. And now it's just going to be Raijin versus 2 as Freya's making the rotation over.
Droid's still chasing Harambe, and now Reach Zero gonna wait for the opportunity to get a whoop, maybe get some pulses to get that slow, but Harambe's still jumping away. He still does have his get out of jail free kick, and the jukes are real, but here comes the whoop, the slow, but he is gonna be safe in the back of his tower. Reach Zero and Droid chased essentially for nothing.
And, I mean, we see Circuit coming over, Xing getting a little bit of damage down, Assailant coming over, nice mez, Reach Zero getting really low, and as Freya early game, this is going to be hard for him, he's not going to be able to get up into his ult. You're going to see Assailant go, the Taigo Trumps come out, Droid really, really low here, and he is going to get dotted down, Xing able to get that kill, even though he was in the middle of backing.
Yeah, he needed to get that kill. He needed a little bit of experience and get his name on the map at this point, or even more so. He's 3, 2, and 5. Raijin probably could have taken it, but it went ahead and backed off to go ahead and get that dot for Xing. Harambe picking up the blue, and Assailant jumping back in.
Now, Jeff Henla going to have some beautiful chains. No escape going to come out. Assailant going to have a purification, but Harambe is not, and he's going to fall. Once again, Jeff Henla here actually going to fall as well to Xing. Xenotronics 1 versus 2 here, but he does a healthy chunk of damage to Xing, and is honestly effectively just as Uller to get them away from him.
Yep, Xenotronics could go ahead and start taking out those fire imps. Get whatever you can. Blue team are on a really nice roll, especially with Suntaku taking out Barracuda in the duo lane. So every little bit counts because we're 8 minutes and 20 seconds into the game, and blue team have changed this up. They're now 1,400 and 1,400 experience in favor, as well as a little, about 700 gold, which isn't much, but like I said, good foothold and a nice flip from earlier on.
But something that needs to be harped on, Reach Zero as Freya. That is just I want to say one of the hardest late game carries you can have. The nice whoop going into the air. Xing trying to get a little bit of poke out, but honestly, Reach Zero holding out. Jeff Henla and Xenotronics making the rotation, but I don't see any fights coming out of this one. But what I want to see from Reach Zero is honestly 2 more items, and then I think we're going to see a huge impact from Freya that we're already seeing a large one. It's going to be even bigger.
Yeah, I mean, Freya is a very potent hyper carry-esque character, and as soon as she gets a couple more kills under her belt, finishes off some items, she's going to be a detrimental force to be reckoned with. So it's definitely going to be the game of stay away from Freya or take her out first. Yeah,
she's one of the characters I have. It's her and Kali. They both work the exact same way. It doesn't matter how hard you try to shut them out early on. They hit a certain moment, a certain gold threshold, they get their items and they're ready to go. And I feel like that's going to be playing a big factor. Although Jeff Henla also playing a big factor. Hitting these chains, he does manage to get one, but not the second one. I feel like Assailant is definitely a target along with Xing for those chains there.
Oh, definitely, because he's not going to be able to get away at that point because you are crippled when you're hit with those chains. And then at that point, it's just free damage. Now, granted, Raijin's able to pump out some fantastic damage of his own, so it's kind of literally a double-edged sword, but...
We're going to see Xing taking, again, the chains coming out. He's going to take a little bit of damage, but Barracuda actually taking a lot of poke. 5, 1, and 2 is on her, sitting 2 levels ahead of Barracuda. 1,100 gold.
That's quite a hefty purse that he's got packing with him right now, and that's definitely going to come into play as we continue on throughout the game. But for right now, we've hit kind of a lull. But blue team are sticking together. They don't want to get caught out. They don't want to give anything for Luminosity or the red team to really take advantage of. So Assailant, Xing, and Joel at this point have been pretty close-knit just to make sure none of them get called out.
I'm interested in the fact Barracuda keeps boxing Suntaco, although like now he's only 1 level behind, but again, 2 levels. That last one just ticked up Suntaco to level 12. Xenotronic's going to make the rotation over, but sitting on the same level, Reach Zero is really the one to go for it, and Suntaco looking like he just wants to feed to the tower, although Xenotronics get credit for the kill there.
And every little bit counts in this game, and they're going to continue on chasing forward. But for now, it looks like we're going to have a disengage coming out as Joel's not going to really be able to do anything, but Harambe in the back line going to be able to take out, or at least in the solo back line, going to be able to take out the Hercules. The revenge is still strong, even though he barely got out by the skin of his teeth.
Xing being a little bit deep, Xenotronic's going to be making this rotation over along with Reach Zero. He's going to be able to jump around, and this is where Circuit shines, is this mobility, but a nice whoop going to knock him up into the air. A dash through Reach Zero, but he's getting slowed down by the pulse. The ultimate is going to come out. He's taking, once again, more damage. Freya's up in the air, and she's going to be able to find the kill, finally, with the last shot. Assailant just kind of had to sit back and watch as his teammate died there.
I mean, she tried to buy a little bit of time, get that damage, and it took Reach Zero down quite a bit, just waiting, doing anything to make sure the team can come by. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough time, and Xing, pretty squishy, level 11 compared to a couple of other members on the team right now, or of Luminosity's team, so didn't quite work out in their favor, but they still sit 4 kills up.
So I feel like Suntaco has found himself in, honestly, a really prime position. Barracuda, you know, world-renowned ADC. Everybody knows his name in Smite. And Suntaco's ahead here. He's been winning 1v1s. He's sitting 2 levels ahead. Still actually increased his gold lead to 1,300 at this point. Barracuda can't take the one-on-one fight anymore. So Suntaco owns that lane. I'm looking for the rest of Luminosity, the rest of the red team, to do something, but Harambe over here is just bullying Droid. Hercules not having a leg to stand on in the solo lane. A lot of pressure is being put on Xenotronics, and I feel like that's what's going to come through, as now Harambe getting rotated on Freya is here, but a nice root going to be able to save it.
Yeah, but we have Xenotronics coming in as well. Forced in, here comes the baseball or the rock if it was a normal skin, but it's not going to connect, so instead Harambe jumps back into the fight. Droid forced to go ahead and start using that heal, whereas and then uses the dash to get out, but Assailant taking out Jeff Henla over on the left side, and now here come the Taiko drums, and Barracuda jumps into the air. Those drums are about to fall, but so is Barracuda here in just a second. Assailant forced to use a purification, and Barracuda in that one-on-one fight with Suntaco and lost it. So he has no mana, and Assailant in the backline. Xenotronics gonna be able to clean him up, but now he's gonna get pinched between Harambe and Suntaco. But the stun!
He's going to be running away. He's looking, honestly, for his jump, but the purification going to come out to get rid of the slow. He's going to jump. Smite is going, and Xing going to be coming in here. And he's looking for anything here, and we actually see Joel. The chase is real. Blue team really wants Xenotronics, but they're going to have to back off. Reach Zero also sitting in a little bit of a close place. He's having to hover a little bit further back than he'd probably want to his Freya, although the aggression is going to come back in as we see the red team aggress.
Yeah, Breach Zero throwing those pulses as much as he can. Joe gonna get pushed back, but here comes the windup, gonna get one droid back and then into the root for Harambe. Here comes the ultimate once again, but it's not gonna finish anybody off, but Breach Zero is gonna eradicate Joel from the map, and now their sights turn to Harambe. And I can understand wanting to take out Xenotronics early on. He's level 15. Nobody wants to deal with that, and unfortunately they're gonna have to as he starts to assault on their tower.
Harambe actually going to jump into the middle of all of them. Droid taking a lot of damage. Shing throwing it down for him. But Shing taking a huge amount of poke. Going to have to jump out. And he's out of the fight for a little bit. As we just kind of see Red Team back off. They don't want to fight. They got the tower. They didn't lose anybody. And, I mean, they picked up Joel for that. It's a pretty good lead for them. I mean, they're still sitting behind. But now the lead that Blue Team has is only about 1,000 gold and 3 kills. It's not a bad place for them to be sitting.
Yeah, I mean, considering the numbers, they're practically negligent right now. It's still, it could still tip either way. This is only a foothold. I mean, Blue Team are ahead, but only by a very minuscule amount. I mean, we're looking at 2,500 at this point, and that's even with all these camps and whatnot. Gold Fury is still up. That could easily get Red Team back on par with Blue, and even tip it in their favor just a smidge.
Having you pointed out, I'm actually surprised with all of the fighting that has been going on this game. Not once has it been over the Gold Fury. They haven't fought in that area. Nobody's been risking it. Nobody wants to lose it. And I mean, when it comes down to it, there's been no opportunities either. There hasn't been, you know, we took out 3 or 4, we can go get it. It's just been, hey, we got a few picks here and there. And a few picks when there's 27 kills on the board, and they've all just been like, we've managed to pick up 2, maybe 3. I mean, it's kind of insane how intense this game has been.
I mean, haven't you heard about the new Conquest meta? It's it focuses around the arena style, where you kill the creep, but you just go ham on everybody else. Like Joel's going ham on Dinatronics. He's forced to go ahead and jump away while Shing accidentally ults a minion.
I feel like this was how Clash was born. the idea of let's just completely fight it out while, oh hey, you know, there's also some camps to take. And I mean, as it stands, you know, both the teams, they're finally in this lull. They're not wanting to fight as much right now, although I anticipate it happening very much soon. The
minions are gonna take down this solo tower, and nobody cares at this point. It's just the archers. If it's not this wave, it's gonna be the next one, because droids completely ignored it. This has become the team fight game. Both teams are so rip-roaring and ready to go. They just want to fight.
And, I mean, it's a huge thing for Harambe here, just because, like you said earlier, he was first blood. And he is winning his lane now. He is not just, like, effectively, oh, he's made a comeback, he's even. He is ahead.
No, he's 3 levels ahead of his lane partner, and Shing's coming in, wants to go ahead and take out Droid. As the tower falls, they're hoping so will Droid here. Shing chasing down, and Droid activates that heal. The root is not going to connect, but Shing using that superior mobility to continue to stay in the fight and continue to stay in the chase. Here comes that ultimate coming out, so no more healing, and then hopefully some damage over time. Droid's going to fall to Shing.
With that, we're going to see Red Team start up the Gold Fury, but Joel is here. Joel sees it. Luminosity going to pick it up, though. The Wrath being very, very useful there. Reach 0 going to confirm that. And with Shing not around, that was pretty much not necessarily a free Gold Fury. There was a little bit of risk to it, but Joel didn't want to get aggressive there. And now it looks like the fight's going to be turned to the mid lane.
I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't realize that was happening because I was so engrossed in that fight over in the solo lane. So good on Luminosity for pulling that over their heads at this point. They've pretty much gotten rid of any gold difference. It's only about 800, which that's chump change.
I'm kind of wondering, so Joel had vision on the Gold Fury while it was being taken. If he has communicated that the Wrath is down, Blue Team could go for the Fire Giant. Shing has his Wrath up. And I don't think they want to risk it. I think there is enough burst that the Red Team could take it away. I feel like that's a pocket play that they do have available for another minute or so. And that'd be really hyped to see. I don't think it's going to happen just because the risk versus reward for it isn't very good, but it is a possible strat we might see.
I mean, it is good they took down the tier 1 solo tower because they're not going to have that defensive bunker to go ahead and retreat back to if they do try and take it. But instead, we're not really going to see an objective fought over. Instead, we're going to just have this fight in the middle of the jungle. Xenotronics taking a lot of damage, and Shing going to get credit for that with the damage over time. And the fight doesn't stop here. No escape from Jeff Hinla. Going to be able to take out Shing. Doesn't even matter if you got pulled or not. You were done like dinner.
A good 1-for-1 trade there. Although Suntaco, he got a little bit aggressive towards the wave. I thought he might have been able to get caught out. The droid not quite, I guess, comfortable enough to throw out the knock-up to try and pull him back. He probably was out of range anyway, so just good on them. Oh, Harambe, once again, getting super aggressive here. The rotations can come out. Reach 0's around. Jeff Hinla's around, and right there is Droid. But I don't know how this fight's going to go for him.
I mean, there's still that giant level difference. He is going to get dashed back into the tower and then slowed by Reach Zero. And then Jeff Hinla trying to find the chains and the fire. And Harambe is still alive. The beautiful root coming out. The baseball is going to hit and the whoop's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be able to get out of here.
So going from what was First Blood to now the tankiest person I've seen, the Taiko Drum's going to come out. Reach Zero going to be able to pick up that kill. Harambe finally going to fall. Jeff Hinla getting credit for that one. And I mean, he lived so long as not just a solo laner, and yeah, he has Breastplate and he does have the Frostbound Hammer, but I mean, he lived forever in that, and a lot of that's just he played his character very well.
I mean, he lived so long, but he didn't gain anything from it, and instead, they lost 2 members, and now a tower, so they didn't get anything from it. Yeah, he's tanky, but I'm not really sure what's going on through their heads right now.
Meanwhile, we're going to be seeing Red Team. They're looking to siege down. They're going for a tier 2. Joel is up. He has his ultimate, but he's just kind of falling back. And I feel like this is why we don't see Xingqian too much. Xingqian here has fallen a little bit behind, and he's essentially out. He can't get aggressive without getting poked down. He can't get in because he doesn't have a blink. He has no real way to get into that initiation. So a lot of his damage is, are they on me right now? Can I do something to turn this around versus can I aggress and get my team ahead? And as it stands, 2 towers in the mid lane, what looks to be 1 tower over in the dual lane going to be falling, and Red Team going to be shortening up and actually taking the gold lead by about 2,000.
Yeah, they're running with every inch of momentum that they had. They took down 2 towers in the mid, took down the tier 1 tower in the duo lane, and the only thing that Blue Team could do is just sit and watch at this point.
That being said, Blue Team is going through. They are grabbing some buffs and some experience camp, not necessarily to get all of the gold from that, but really to try and even out the level difference. Although Jeff Hinla getting caught out in a kind of bizarre fashion. He is very tanky, but just like what happened to Harambe, it doesn't seem to be too much. No escape going to go up. He does have Xing, and Xing does get pulled. A lot of damage getting thrown down, and Jeff Hinla does fall, but it looked like there might have been a turnaround had his team been a little bit faster, but as this, Harambe going to be going in to fight 1v3. Joel is here, and he's going to be looking for this ultimate. I can feel it, and here it comes, the spin to win.
Spin to win. He's going to be able to get 2 members, and then the Thunder Crash coming in. And now they're chasing down Xenotronics or anybody they can find. Harambe gonna go ahead and turn, try to find Barracuda. The get out of jail kick's gonna save him from any little bit of damage. And Santaco taking out Xenotronics in the back line. This is what Blue Team needed. They're gonna force Barracuda into his ultimate. They know exactly where it's gonna come down, and they're gonna pin him down as soon as he gets back. Here comes that forced Sanctuary, and then here comes Santaco.
That's going to be a deicide. Jeff Hinla has just respawned, but with no real confirmable damage, I feel like this is going to be either the Phoenix or a Fire Giant. It might even be both, depending on how they go out. A Meditation is going to be used, so they're sitting fresh, they're sitting pretty, and they're going to be going. The middle Phoenix does not look good here.
No, they're going to cook it. It is done like dinner, roasted and toasted, and they're going to continue on forward. That looks like a Fire Giant to me.
I see 2 of them backing. I feel like they're going to be starting the Fire Giant, backing, kind of cooling off as the rest of the team is going to start it, although looks more like they're going for the bus. I think the Fire Giant calls moot, but they might bait it out because I see a big rotation coming out from the red team.
Yeah, my first thought was Fire Giant. Their first thought's probably Fire Giant as well. So maybe they can catch somebody off guard, and maybe it is a bait. Looking to try to find Harambe. He's gonna get knocked up, and Jeff Hinla has a couple of chains on him. That is gonna be 2, in fact. But the rock's not gonna be good. Not gonna really take anybody out. Harambe, it just kind of bounced off his chest. He's just sitting there laughing as he's backing.
So the Raven and the Raij in this game, just both of them have been playing, honestly, very exceptionally. That last fight, we got to see the Taiko drum, and honestly, just the raw burst that Assailant put out kind of shift that over, but Harambe has just been playing this, I guess, smartly. Like, he's just been playing in a way that is like, I am aggressive,
Speaking of smart, Luminosity just took that Gold Fury. Nobody was even nearby. Blue Team had nothing to say about it. And at this point, even if they go to sniff at it, it's not even going to be there because Luminosity took it. So Blue Team missed their opportunity to take any objective, and instead Luminosity just did it themselves.
And
Honey Badger don't care.
To give them even more strength off of that, Reach Zero still has his Wrath. So now the Fire Giant, like, this gives me some Season 1 feels. And it's one of those things that, I've always loved that meta back then. It was really fun just because objectives were really risky. a lot of people had the ability to execute it. So it was, if you wanted to get the Fire Giant, you had to make sure the right targets were down. And this is the exact same case. If Reach Zero or Xing use their Wrath in any form, and it's not to secure the Fire Giant, and someone on the other team notices it, then that's a free objective for them. And I feel like that's what we're waiting for. And I want to see, it's just the steal potential just gets me so jittery.
I know, because it's so close. Either team could take it at this point, and they have to be incredibly careful because Reach Zero, as you mentioned, didn't burn it, so they still have it. So it's not even a one and done opportunity for blue team anymore. Now Luminosity's still in this game, and they're still fighting hard. Xing just popped a potion. He wants to go ahead and dish out as much damage as he can, considering he's only level 17 right now. And some members of Luminosity are sitting 3 levels ahead of him, like Xenotronics, for example.
I'm also really interested with, honestly, like Barracuda. Just this entire game, he's sitting at 0-5. But he's kind of lessened the difference. While we do see Suntaka still ahead, he's kind of made himself more impactful as now the Fire Giant getting started.
Jeff
North's
Handler
going to come out. He's got 3 men, but he's only going to pull 1, and it's the one person he probably didn't want. Taiko Drum's going to throw out a little bit of damage. And Suntaka, honestly, sitting in the background. Reach Zero going to get ulted by Xing, thrown around his 2 members of the red team. Reach Zero finally going to fall as Assailant picks up a kill.
And that means the Wrath is gone as well because Reach Zero has been eradicated. Xing on the receiving end of not 1, not 2, but 3 shots coming out from Barracuda. They were on point. Now Xing's in a very bad spot as 3 members of Luminosity are barreling down the lane in an attempt to find him. And even if they don't find him, they're going to be able to take this tower incredibly easy. Xing is going to be able to jump away just fine. Droid is going to be deterred from the rest of the blue team, as well as the pillar. Beautiful zoning coming out.
Now Jeff Henley going to get some chains down. Assailant taking a little bit of damage, but a nice Sanctuary going to keep him alive a little bit longer, but a crit out from Xenotronics is going to be able to pick up that kill. Now we see Harambe getting a little bit of damage. There's 4 members of the red team here, but 2 of them sitting at half health, not wanting to aggress under the tier 2. Barracuda going to get stunned against the wall. A Sanctuary going to be the only thing that saves them there. Some huge crits coming out from Xing, who's now back in this, and Droid going to be the one who falls next. And red team having to just fall back. Xenotronics trying to get a little bit of poke out, maybe find a kill, but Barracuda and Jeff Henley are just too low to do anything.
Which is unfortunate because this would have been the time to go ahead and continue putting that pressure. But, I mean, both teams saw it as a chance to disengage, go ahead and heal back up, and then meet back in the middle with, I mean, it's just revitalized. You're going to have a better chance of taking some objectives, taking these team fights when everybody's back fit and ready to fight.
I feel like in that last fight, and it was something that it was pointed out with Freya. Freya fell, so did the Wrath. I feel like that's why they chased Xing so hard. Xing has that Wrath. Xing was the only potential that they could see taking away that Fire Giant. I mean, as it stands, they're going to bait it out again. Xing taking a lot of damage. Barracuda going to go up in the air. He hits 1. He doesn't hit 2, and he's not going to be able to find the 3rd either. And he's still looking for the damage. He does manage to find the kill with the last auto. Harambe going to be sitting in the middle of 3 people, but so is Joel. Joel going to counter ult Jeff Henley. The bead's going to be used to stop anyone from getting pulled there. Freya trying to throw out some damage. The whoop going to be good. Joel going to take some damage, and this is where the Taiko drums are coming in handy.
Taiko drums through the wall. Lots of damage, but it's not going to deter Barracuda, who continues to chase forward, taking him down. No more Xing Tian. Now Jeff Henley's on Assailant. That's not 1, 2, 3 chains, but Suntako takes out Xenotronics, and Reach Zero takes out Assailant in reply. Now Suntako's in a very bad spot, forced to jump away, but all he needs to do is just get sneezed at, and he is gone. So instead, once again, Luminosity going to throw their weight around and start putting, I mean, not only putting this tower in the ground, but possibly Harambe's revenge.
He's getting low. The meditation was used just to keep himself alive, and I can guarantee right now he's feeling a little bit bad about that, just knowing he used it and died anyway for it. It's not something you like doing, although the tier 2 going to get abandoned immediately for the Fire Giant. And Xing is up, and Xing has his Wrath. I fully expect him to just beeline straight for this, although it's going to be a really risky run for pretty much either team.
I mean, even if he does get it, more than likely, he's going to fall in the process. He's trying to jump in, but Luminosity for themselves. Xing gets out of the way just fine. Suntako doing a fantastic job of zoning, even just in case. But now Luminosity are in the perfect position to go ahead and burn down these last 2 towers and then start looking at these birds. Even if blue team were able to secure that, they still have 3 towers to go through for Luminosity. Thankfully, 2 of them are on the same side, so at least they have that for them.
Luckily for blue team, they have already taken that middle Phoenix, so it is sitting a little bit low. So honestly, this is anyone's game, and it's one of those things that, you know, close games, they're anticipatory, right? You're just waiting, like, who's going to drop the ball first? Who's going to be the one who gets taken out? And I feel like blue team's setting themselves up. They're going for the Gold Fear, and I think this might be a fight that could determine it. Reach Zero going to be coming in, Droid and Barracuda following him. Xenotronics is on the left-hand side.
Instead.
They're looking, but yeah, they're going to turn their eyes towards the Gold Fury.
Yeah, blue team just backed off, thinking there was going to be a fight, and Luminosity said, no thanks, we're just going to take this Gold Fury instead. And they don't have a tower to back up to until they go to the tier 2. So Luminosity, once again, going to be able to put the pressure in all the right places, unfortunately for the blue team.
As it stands, this tier 2 is now going to be the target as Reach Zero, Droid, Barracuda, and Xenotron is just the 4 members roaming together. Jeff Hinla finally going to be joining them up here, although he's sitting on the other side of the jungle just waiting. And this is where I see this fight going. This Phoenix is looking pretty appetizing for Luminosity. Jeff Hinla going to blink in. He's going to get chained, and a nice amount of knockup's going to come and get Joel, but no real damage coming out so far.
Xenotronics is the only one that doesn't have the Fire Giant buff, but at this point, it doesn't necessarily matter. Reach Zero using the ultimate Harambe jumping in to see Barracuda looking for some shots. Is going to be able to find Assailant, but here comes the windup and the pitch coming out from Xing Tian, but he's going to be forced back into the back line, and Suntaco forced to use the Sanctuary as well, but now Barracuda and friends are able to take down that left Phoenix and take down Harambe's Revenge as well. Jeff Hinla getting credit for that kill, and they're still not stopping.
They haven't lost anyone yet. The left Phoenix has been taken, and it looks like Barracuda having the presence of mind to push up the wave in the mid lane. The mid Phoenix is going to be the next target, and it's already done. And that is 2 Phoenixes that they have taken, although now they have to retreat. They have to take the tier 2, and this is where I want the blue team. They can either get aggressive under the Phoenix, they can wait to defend, which I think is the right call, or they can try to get aggressive and maybe fight into this. But when there are 5 members, 4 of which have Fire Giant rushing down your lane, you just do your best to keep your team alive to defend the Titan.
Exactly, and Harambe's Revenge is still gone for 20 seconds. Assailant is going to come back up in just a second, so we are going to see him back in the fray, but Luminosity aren't going to continue pushing. All 3 Phoenixes are down. It's time to go ahead. They're going to wipe up the jungle instead. Clean everything out so blue team have nothing to help to try and regain that foothold, and then go from there, which is very smart. It's a safe play.
And Luminosity has brought their gold lead up to 11,000. The surrender vote is going to come through. 3 Phoenixes down. I'm not too surprised to see the blue team kind of throw that one out. They knew it's very unlikely. Like, it's a possible comeback, right? If Luminosity commits very heavily under the Titan without focusing it, it's possible to get that comeback. But 3 Phoenixes, you're kind of pushing it at that point. And as it stands, they're just going to throw themselves out. A little bit of a surrender vote, and Luminosity takes the win.
Yep, that was 32 minutes in. And even though it was a very even game. It was very push and pull for both teams. I mean, at one point it looked like blue team was going to win, and another it looked like Luminosity. Both teams had a pretty strong, both teams had pretty strong sessions. But in the end, Luminosity took that inch and made it into the mile, and that's what just cascaded them into the into the lead, and then into the game.
Now, a lot of that sitting on the back of Xenotronics, just 7-4-9. His Uller play, like the entire game, really was incredibly strong. We saw Reach Zero and Barracuda make impacts. They definitely showed up. They had a presence in the game, but Xenotronics was there the entire time, being aggressive. He was pushing hard. He was always making the right rotations, getting a lot of damage down, some really, really healthy crits coming down to just help his team out. And I mean, as it stood, his Uller, I feel, was kind of what carried his team through some of the rougher patches.
I mean, not only the team fights, but also the objectives. 6,600 objective damage, the structures coming out from Xenotronics. He was the tower burner. I know we call Soul a tower burner that we saw in the game prior to this, but Xenotronics really showed up when it came to those towers as well. He was all over the map, and that's what got Luminosity their victory, plus those team fights. So thank you all for watching. You were watching Tiger and Goremizer. We're going to bring you the next game here in just a second.